Okay, here we are, flagship rackets from 100, and there's 4 of them here. This first batch of launch comes in 3 racket series, Nitrix, Hyfonic and Flareon, and 4 racket models. So the models are Nitrix 70 Venom, Nitrix 70 Volta, the Hyfonic 7 and the Flareon 700. Yes, it's the similar Flareon as the Pokemon. The previous video I talked about 100's Battle 900 racket, where it's their first flagship rackets, and they've now taken those learnings and created these 3 racket series, which are defined as the Pro series. In terms of racket series, you see all the major brands have 3 main series and 100 is amongst the same. No point reinventing the wheel in this instance. So Hyonic has the Astrox, Arc Saber and Nano Flare, Victor has the Thruster, Aura Speed and Drive X, Leaning has the X-Force, Blade X and Halberd Tech. So 100 has the Nitrix, Hyfonic and Flareon. So to help their customers get used to the new range, 100 has designed the Nitrix to be an attacking, power-focused series similar to the Astrox, Thruster and X-Force in this instance. The Hyfonic more focused on stability and precision, similar to what Arc Saber is from Hyonic, and the Flareon focused on speed, similar to Nano Flare, Aura Speed and Halberd Tech in this instance. Obviously more rackets will be released down the line, but let's take a look on the 4 that's released here, and all 4 are significantly different to each other. All rackets released here come in 3U and both 4U weights as well. We'll start with the Nitrix, and we have 2 rackets, the Nitrix 70 Venom and the Nitrix 70 Volta. The 70 Venom is a straight matte black, lots of shiny gold accents on the racket. I like it. Design is incredibly clean with a super thin shaft, and that's advertised at 6.1mm diameter, alongside a frame design that's boxy and fully recessed. Sounds like a fast racket here. The 70 Volta on the other hand is very different to the Venom, white in finishing, long shaft, super short handle, not fully recessed, and the frame shade is very similar to the Leaning 3D Caliber racket series. Interesting here. In terms of specs, the 70 Venom has a frame height of 23.5 centimeters, frame width of 18 centimeters, making this a compact frame racket. Frame thickness at 10.4 millimeters with a fully recessed frame design that we talked about earlier. Shaft length is at 20.5 centimeters and a shaft diameter of 6.3 millimeters that's measured. Handle length is 18 centimeters. Pretty standard there. In the 70 Volta, the frame height is 23.6 centimeters with a frame width of 18.5 centimeters, makes it a normal size frame with a thickness of 10.9 millimeters with its top half recessed like we talked about earlier on. The frame length is 22.5 centimeters, which is the joint longest ever measured on this channel, alongside the Leaning 3D Caliber 900C, which is a legendary racket in this respect. The shaft diameter of the 70 Volta is 7.1mm and the handle length is actually, I forgot. The handle length is actually 16.5 centimeters for the 70 Volta. Remember to also take care and protect your precious racket frames with the premium racket protection tape from ckydw.com/shop, and check out the super limited edition signed prints too. We have some new recent editions, and once they run out, they are gone forever. The protection tape and signed prints come with free delivery worldwide, so check them out. Let's now take a quick look at the Flareon 700 racket. This is a wide frame, speed-based racket, and I love the pink and orange accents on top of the black that's the main color. Initial vibes feel like a Halberd Tech paired with a Nano Flare racket. This is pretty unique. I love the holographic hexagonal dimples at the top of the racket, and you can actually feel them. The Flareon 700 is fully recessed with its frame in bid to obviously increase the swing speed, and specs are here. The frame height is 23.4 centimeters with a width of 18 centimeters, making this again a slightly compact racket frame. Frame thickness is 12.3 millimeters, again paired with a fully recessed frame profile. Shaft length is 21 centimeters with a diameter of 7.2 millimeters, coming with a handle length of 17.5 centimeters. Finally, the Hyfonic 7. This Hyfonic 7 is a unique one because of the racket frame shape. It reminds me a lot of the Victor Bravesword 12, but it's got a slight angle on the frame. The Hyfonic 7 has a slightly rounded frame shape compared to the straight diamond shape that the Braveswords have. This is very unique. Also, I've not come across a racket where the recessed area on the frame is only the top 1/3. I mean, I've seen rackets that's top half, fully recessed, top 2/3, 60%, but only the top 1/3 is a new one. So this guy is interesting. In terms of color combinations, whilst I love the pearlescent deep purple that's on the racket, I'm not too sure about the green that's all over the frame. It's probably too futuristic for me. In terms of specs, the Hyfonic 7 has a frame height of 23.5 centimeters, frame width of 18.3 centimeters, frame thickness of 10.9 millimeters, top 1/3 recessed frame profile, shaft length of 22 centimeters with a diameter of 7.1 millimeters, which is paired to a handle length of 16 centimeters. Again, fairly short handle here. Obviously, I have all the rackets strung with my usual setup of Aerobyte at 27 by 29 pounds, and here are all the swing weight measurements for all the rackets. Both 3U and 4U rackets are all rated to 32 pounds in tension, and it's also fairly rare to see no difference to the rated tensions between 3U and 4U racket weights. If you're looking to purchase these rackets, I've put down links where you can purchase them, including to stores in the UK like Central Sports and the USA like the Rally Shop. Remember to use my discount code of CKYDB for additional discounts there too. Right, so how do they all play? I generally play with a 4U racket, so I start testing them first in 4U before introducing the 3U models into my testing process. So for the Nitrix 70 Venom, this thing is fast and enjoyable. I liked it a lot. It's got good power, very responsive with a fairly crisp feel. I did feel like the frame was a bit compact, and I did miss time a little, especially when under pressure. For some reason, I also felt that the racket felt a bit short at times, especially if I've just swapped onto the 70 Venom from another racket. If I don't catch the sweet spot and only got the edge of the string, yeah, I think you might be in trouble then. Turns out the 70 Venom is like an Astrox 88S Pro, which is slightly shorter than the usual racket by a few millimeters. Hence, this explains why I felt it was a little bit short. So in terms of overall feel and performance, this 70 Venom is not a 10 out of 10 yet, but a good 8.5 out of 10 already. It's not crazy head heavy, but also more than enough head weight, speed, and power all combined. This is a good attacking racket that's responsive, fast, and I actually really enjoyed it. If we then move on to the 70 Volta, coming from the Venom, the Volta felt headlight for me. It's not headlight in the grand scheme of things, but it did feel like it's headlight coming from the Venom. So I was very conscious about the short handle instantly, and with the long shaft it feels slightly whippy. But because of the lack of headway compared to the 70 Venom, the 70 Volta felt faster than the 70 Venom, but less smooth, with that slight drag that's coming from the unique frame design. I get that frame also gives you a little bit more frame stability during the hitting phase, and that gives you a little bit more confidence. The 70 Volta is quite enjoyable in 4U, but to be honest, I preferred the 3U model because it offered that little bit more overall weight, which helped with energy transfer onto the shuttle. Okay, the Flareon 700. This one felt quite even balanced with that little bit of head weight in it. It was also quite unique as it feels like a cross between a Hyonic Center Flare 700 Pro and a leaning Halbertech 8000. It had the racket head of the 700 Pro, but the shaft and handle of the Halbertech 8000. Quite an interesting combo which I didn't realize I would enjoy. It's got a solid but damp feel, and it certainly was fast, but because of the good balance it was fairly easy to play with, and was able to control the shuttle well. Weirdly enough, I felt the handle length was just nice, neither too long or too short, and that gives me a lot of options as usual during playing, because I like to hold it higher at the cone cap during service and defense, but like to hold it down lower at the bud cap during power shots such as smashes and clears. I didn't struggle with power with the 4U model, so if you're someone who wants an even more solid feel, go for the 3U options. Okay, we're left with the Hyfonic 7. This one I have problems with. I found it very hard to time with this guy. This thing has got lots of power and a crisp hitting feel, but that's not the only thing that you should be looking for in a racket. The frame feels big, and that normally equates to a bigger sweet spot, but it doesn't feel that way. Hitting feel was quite stiff, which I guess is needed for a precision-based racket, but something still needs to help the player, help us get the shuttle to where we need it to go. In many of the more technically demanding shots, such as controlled defensive shots that's coming at you fast, I found it was quite hard to time these shots, and often the shuttle isn't coming off correctly. You squeeze it and something happens to the shuttle, but it's not the one that you want. Whilst I like the concept and the direction of what the Hyfonic 7 is designed and heading for, the racket still needs to be a little bit less demanding and help the player a little bit more. For the 3U, I couldn't hack it. Stiff, hard to time, heavy. 4U was a lot more user friendly, but compared to the rest here, it was the hardest one to use. So I really actually like to hear what you guys actually feel if you already have a Hyfonic 7. Let me know down in the comment section below if you find that the frame was very unique or it actually matches what I actually find here. All in all, I actually like how 100 is being serious with their racket development here by producing these sets of first batch of rackets. Pricing wise, I hear that they're competitive in the markets that they're in, and that's great for us players. The first batch of release is a sign of good intent where I can see how 100 can continue to improve on their products, especially the Hyfonic 7. And because of 100's pricing structure, these rackets offer good value to players, and 100's own sponsored players will also be playing with these rackets too. For example, Callum Hamming is already playing with the Nitrix 70 Venom, and Estelle Van Leeuwen soon we'll be playing with the Flareon 700. Have you tested these? What are your thoughts? Let me know down in the comment section below, and until then, I'll see you in the next one.